Yo, it's your boy Just. Welcome to Global Unlimited Podcast. We're back again today, and I have with me Jahrobi Ihsan.
That's right.
All right. I just want to get out the way from the door because I'm bad with names, and his name is one of those names that I probably would never remember because I'm terrible with names. But from this point on, I'm going to just call you Jay. That's cool with you.
That's fine with me.
All right, cool. So once again, we back here at Briggs Library, the home of Howard's Healthy Choices Community Center. I'm saying here with Miss Howard and Miss Hope. They do stuff for the kids and everything. But the reason why we're here today is because this young man is an author. You know what I mean? First book, right?
Yeah, first book.
Let's be real for once. I saw him on Facebook doing autographs, book signing, and he was downtown.
Yeah, I was downtown at the
Big Easy. Yeah.
On the 8th.
Yep. Mm-hmm. The memory is good, but I can't do names though. So go ahead and introduce yourself to the people real quick, man.
My name is Jahrobi Ihsan. I'm from North Trenton. Graduated from Howard University. I have a Bachelor of Business Administration in Computer Information Systems. And I'm a now best-selling author.
Okay. And how old are you?
I'm 28.
20 years old. 20 years old. That's what's up, because we don't have a lot of young brothers your age. I'll be 43 this year, so I got you by a few. You know what I'm saying? They're getting some change. A lot of brothers your age is not actually doing or have done some of the things you've done, especially not, I ain't gonna say a lot, because we do it. It's more of us doing the right thing than it is doing the wrong thing. Right. It's just that the people doing the wrong thing the situation gets so over exploded and oversaturated that it always seems like that everybody out here is doing the wrong thing. Right. You know what I mean? So that's why I like interviewing, like yourself, to show people that we are out here doing different things besides, running the streets and, doing negative things. You know what I mean? You said you're from North Trenton, Brunswick Avenue.
Yep.
North Trenton native. You know what I mean?
That's
Fountain Avenue. So, you adapt. So you went to the local junior Miami. No, not Miami. Was it Jefferson at the time, or was it Martin Luther King?
It was Jefferson at the time.
Okay.
I didn't go to Jefferson. I actually went to APAS, and I went to Granville Charter School for elementary.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Granville, that was downtown, right? West State Street. I think it's located.
Yep, right on West State Street.
That's great. I didn't get accepted. I applied for Granville, and actually when I was in elementary school, and I missed it by one seat. I was mad. Oh, man. I was disappointed. But it is what it is. But I know that's a good. Actually, Granville been around for a long time. Is it still there? Or?
I don't think it's still there now.
I think what's took it over? What's that charter school that's downtown on West State Street?
Is it Foundation?
Foundation. I think Foundation
one
took
of
it over.
those.
Yeah. So we went to Granville, and then from junior high,
and then I went junior high. I went to Incarnation Catholic School in Ewing, and then
now that's a charter school now too. That's STEM Civic.
The STEM Civic, right? And then I went to Joyce Kilmer as well.
Okay,
so that's where I graduated from middle school.
Joyce Kilmer, okay. Mm-hmm. High school. How about high school? You was in high school.
So I started at Trenton High West, left there, and went to Hopewell.
Okay, so at the time you didn't have the luxury to go to the old Trenton High on right here on Greenwood Avenue.
Right,
Chamber Street.
Right, it was open, but I didn't have the luxury to go there.
I went to that school, and actually I'm kind of jealous because I went to the old school.
Right,
and I see this brand new school that got built over there. I mean, for millions of dollars. I'm like, I ain't got that school when I was going. So from Hopewell. You guys from Hopewell, then you went to Howard University. Scholarship or?
I did have a marching band scholarship.
Okay, so you was in the band as well.
Right. I started at Virginia State University.
Okay.
I didn't get accepted into Howard straight out of high school.
Oh, okay, so you had to work. Yeah.
Right. So I went to Virginia State for a year. I marched on the band there. I played the bass drums and the cymbals. Mm-hmm. So I marched on the band there, and I just actually applied to Howard. I didn't really have the intentions on transferring when I applied. It was just kind of like an experiment. I was like, well, I didn't get in, and I'm looking at the qualifications. I meet them right in terms of my grade point average and the amount of credits I have. So let me just apply and see if I get in. Okay. So I got accepted, and Virginia State wasn't offering me that many financial opportunities for the upcoming year to continue my education there, and Howard was at the time. So I went ahead and transferred.
So how many years did you spend at Virginia State? Just one?
Just 1 year.
And that's just other 3 years or 4 years you was at Howard?
Right, at Howard.
Okay. And you graduated when? What year you graduated?
I graduated in 2014.
Oh, so you fresh out, basically.
Right.
5 years, yeah.
5 years, yeah.
So all right, so what you been doing since then? Like the past 5 years, since you've been home, you went to Howard, which is in DC.
Right.
And then after graduation, you came back home.
Right.
What convinced you, or what motivated you to come back home? A lot of people go to school out of state. They find a job in that, you know what I mean, in that state, whatever, and that's it. So
and I actually fell in love with DC. That's like my second home now. Like whenever I'm there, I'm comfortable. Like sometimes I don't even want to come back right away. But I actually, I was looking for a job in my field there. I hadn't found anything part-time. I was working part-time in my field and then working part-time outside of my field just to pay bills. And then my mom ended up getting really sick back home. So I ended up getting a job here.
In your field?
Right. Not directly in my field, but in the banking industry. And they did let me know that within 6 months, as long as I was in good standing with the company, I could apply for other things in my field. And that's what I did. And I ended up landing a job in my field.
And so your field is what directly? You went to school on a marching band,
right?
Type atmosphere, but what is your?
So I actually majored in computer information systems, which is within the School of Business. So you basically, it's a degree that's basically consists of business administration and IT.
Okay, so it's a combination of both.
It's a combination of both because I wanted a business degree because. Regardless of what industry I ended up going into, or regardless of if I became an entrepreneur, either way, they both would be surrounded by some kind of business. So I wanted to have that kind of mindset. But at the same time, I had always been good at computers and I had a passion for fixing them and keeping up with technology throughout my childhood. So I figured that was the best opportunity for me to
take the tech route along with the business route and put it together.
Right.
That makes sense. That's the way of the world right now. I'm saying from the computers to being an entrepreneur.
Right.
I mean, people. I do anyway. I like to stress that fact that working for yourself is, right now is probably the best thing to do.
Absolutely.
I mean, everybody can't be their own boss, of course, but if you have the opportunity to become an entrepreneur, I suggest you give it a try.
Right.
I mean, to see how it works out.
Absolutely.
So, are you currently still working in that same job?
Yeah, I'm currently still working at that same job. I've had maybe Sinlar Bank.
Oh, new one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've been there for almost 4 years now. I had 5 promotions within the last 3.5 years.
Okay.
So I've been moving up and around and exploring other opportunities as well.
All right, that's what's up. Because Sinlar is a big mortgage financial company, right. And actually they're worldwide. Actually.
Yep.
So they actually buy more. Actually they buy mortgages from other small companies or even other banks and stuff, and they manage the mortgages for people. Also, they do like life insurance or something like that, or health insurance or something like that.
No, they just primarily focus on servicing mortgages
and loans and stuff
banks.
Like that.
Right.
Okay. So you've been at Sinlar for 4 years now. Just get home from Howard.
Right.
So what possessed you to sit down and actually tell yourself that you were ready to, or you wanted to write a book? And like, what was the process? Like, what was, what the process of you putting this together and your thoughts and everything while you put this book together? Once again, it's called Let's Be Real for Once.
Right.
So, you know what I mean?
Okay. So I've always wanted to be a fictional writer. Growing up, I read a lot of urban fictional books. I've always been inspired by a lot of different famous authors to do that in my spare time when I got older. That's always a goal that I wanted to achieve.
Right.
But throughout life obstacles, adversities, and me constantly not believing in myself, being timid.
Worst enemy is yourself, as always.
Right. And just I would say at the end of last year, I was in a very dark place. Like I was experiencing depression, anxiety, like high levels of stress that I never experienced before. So throughout those times, I still tried to remain optimistic, and I still fought through the battle. And as I overcame everything, I thought to myself, I really should share my story with other people, and just take that courageous move and help others, not only heal myself by writing everything down, but also helping others along their journeys as well.
So basically, this book is about you.
Yeah, it's a personal narrative. It tells my story all the way from early childhood up until the end of last year.
Okay. So like basically, it's a life story about the up and down things you've been through. And now you speak of that, like you said, anxiety and self depression and stuff like that. Now, did you go through that time? Was you seeking out like, I'm gonna say professional help, or like doctors and stuff like that, or was you self medicating? Because some people self medicate that
shit. in the beginning, I was self medicating, and then I actually went to, because I've always been a very private person. Like I shared, I mean, I had so many like traumatic experiences from childhood all the way up until today that were affecting me, and that I never spoke about and I never vented about. I never I was in denial about those things affecting me in a negative manner. So I went to one of my friends just to vent about it, not remembering or realizing that she was a therapist. So coincidentally,
you know, it's crazy because sometimes when people go to their friends to try to get help, sometimes that's not a good choice. You know what I mean, luckily your friend was a therapist. That way you're able to get some good advice. Because sometimes people go to their friends like, well, you go into a situation, your friend like, oh, well, take this or drink this, and I mean, that's the only help you get.
Exactly. So and I've always been the friend who everybody else comes to advice for. I've always been that strong person who's positive and encouraging everyone behind the scenes to progress. So when the shoe was on the other foot, I didn't really know how to go about seeking help. But I started with my friend who was a therapist, and I did speak with her on the regular. So technically, I did get professional help.
Okay, all right, that's what's up. So, and this book is actually, when did you when did you release this book? When did you put it out?
I released it April 29th.
And it's Amazon's bestseller.
Yep, it became a bestseller on Amazon in less than 24 hours.
Less than 24 hours. That's congratulations, man. That's what's up.
Thank you.
That's a big accomplishment, man.
It was a huge accomplishment. I was shocked. I didn't believe it. Like
I thought the label's on there, y'all. It says right there, Amazon bestseller. So it's on there. Okay. All right, so when you seen that, as far as the bestseller, like what's going through your mind at that time? Like,
I was like, wait, let me double check. Is this really a bestseller, or is this just like?
So did they notify you, or is it something that came?
They didn't notify me. I just happened to check the rankings when I was looking at my account for something else while I was just trying to make sure that everything was published correctly since it was all fresh. And I noticed that it was a bestseller, and it was like within the top 20 African American books, top 20 LGBT books. It was like
that's hitting the charts. Congratulations! That's a great accomplishment, man. I mean, actually, you're the second author I interviewed within the past year. So I also interviewed a man G, Kevin G. He wrote the book Workouts Chronicles. I'm pretty sure you heard of that.
Okay, yeah, I've seen it. I haven't read it yet.
Well, he just released part 2. He just released part 2 earlier this month. I think last month. This is June, right? Early last month. So I read part 1. I'm on part 2 now. So if you haven't read it, definitely it's a good book to read. It's a fictional book, but like I say, he's another Trenton native from Morbid Sexy, also an author. Okay. So you know, but this is a great accomplishment, man. Like, and you're only 28 years old. You're working at a prestige corporation. I mean, and you say also you're an entrepreneur. So besides being an author, a best-selling author on Amazon, what else do you got going on in your life, man?
So, I mean, right now, technically I am an entrepreneur since I'm in the business of selling books.
Exactly.
But I plan on branching out and focusing on other things. Like I want to get more into real estate. I definitely want to start giving back to my community more. Mm-hmm. Actually, my next book will be a children's book.
Oh, okay.
it'll discuss a lot of bullying and different issues we face in urban schools,
right?
And
Definitely, that's a big issue nowadays.
Right, so bring awareness to those things and talk about how those things can make other children feel. Also speak about the consequences that you may have to face.
Yeah.
If you're one of those people bullying others, and how
because the laws have changed a lot since I've been to school. So
right,
especially considering the bully laws, they changed a lot because kids actually get expelled from school nowadays.
Right.
Under these new laws and rules and regulations they have for schools and stuff. So some of the things you talk about in your book that you've been through, or some of the issues that you was facing.
Definitely, I spoke about being bullied. I actually got bullied more at Hopewell than anywhere else.
Is it because of the color barrier thing, or
absolutely?
Basically, okay. You like 6'1", 6'2"? 6'2". Yeah, I'm pretty. Think about too many guys trying to.
Right. And I actually had a growth spurt. Right before I turned 17. Like I went from being very short. I was probably like 5'7", 5'8", and then one day I just woke up and I was 6 foot. It literally just happened overnight. But I actually experienced a lot of racial discrimination there because not only was I a black guy, I was a black guy from Trenton.
Yeah. So it made it even worse.
And there was only about 20 black students in the entire school.
And this was the early 2000s, right?
Yeah. Early 2000s. I graduated 2008.
So yeah, early 2000s.
So when I first came there, the first thing they were asking me were like, "Oh my God, you're from Trenton? Are you in a gang?"
Because definitely the gang stuff really was heavy in Trenton at the time, from like 2002 on up to present time. So I can imagine the pressures you was getting,
and you could tell that like a lot of them had never been around black people before. So sometimes it was just
the town that's right outside. In fact, because the workhouse is located in the Hopewell.
Exactly.
So it's weird how people is only 10 minutes away, never interacted with people of a different race or nationality.
Right.
So you got doing a lot of racism. How did you overcome that as a youth? Like how did you deal with it? I'm saying, was you able to was it a lot of all right. So was it like a lot of, you go home and you want to talk to nobody, or was you trying to was make people aware of the situation, or you just like battle a lot of that stuff up? Like how was you dealing with it?
Well, I would mainly come home and argue with my parents and say, look, I don't want to be there. I wasn't having any issues in Trenton Public Schools. I was getting outstanding student awards. I was on the honor roll. I was taking AP and honors classes. Like, why did you, take me away from there? Now I have problems, and now I'm experiencing racism every day. I'm not happy. I don't want to be there. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to keep rebelling. I'm going to keep skipping school. Like I did skip school a lot. I did not learn anything in high school, even though I was in a school system that was ranked higher, where they had more resources and more funding. Because of my mental state,
since you went through that situation, you didn't go to school.
Right. I wasn't when I was there, I wasn't mentally there. So I wasn't able to really to learn or take advantage of the opportunities. When it came to extracurricular activities after school, I didn't want to be there, so I didn't participate. And then when you go to apply for college, they're asking you what extracurricular activities are you in, right? So it did cause me to actually lose some opportunities, which is why I didn't get into Howard. So, and then most of my Trenton High friends, my real friends, my close friends, they all graduated from college before me with higher grades than me and got jobs in their fields before me. So,
which is crazy because people expect you to go to a different school district to excel, and you kind of regressed at that point in time.
Yeah.
So you actually did graduate though. You finally graduated,
and it was to the point where I would leave school and go up to Trenton High. To this day, nobody believes that I was at Hopewell. Like people are like, no, I remember you from this class, or I remember you from this, or they remember seeing me at the prom, or so everybody.
You spent time at Trenton High that you was in your old school.
Yeah, so if I walk around Trenton right now, everybody like, oh yeah, this so and so. We went to Trenton High with him. Like I don't even argue with it no more. I'm just an honorary tornado.
Well, you're from the town, of course,
right?
But you spent 4 years in Hopewell. All 4 years, or how many years were you in Hopewell?
Yeah, almost the whole 4 years.
And you faced that
every single day. And it was to the point where, like, when social media started to come on the rise, and MySpace, when they went through the whole MySpace movement, I would take pictures with me and my friends from North Trenton. They would take my pictures and put like pictures of Aunt Jemima or like bananas on like monkeys, like replacing my friends' faces with that. Right. But I didn't even tell my parents because I felt that they wouldn't take me out of the school. And that's the only, that I felt like that was the only solution, because I feel like you may be able to nip this situation in the bud, but what about the following day when I go back to school and have to deal with a whole nother racist kid? Like, so
you I mean, you, when people talk about it, like I said, I get people that talk about it or know somebody that dealt with somebody, or you know what I mean, but you have to face those issues head on, because like they say, they talk about now, you know, all these cable specials about kids dealing with bullying and all that, and right, social media bullying. They talk about it on the news all the time, but you was facing that stuff head on every single day, though.
Every day.
You know what I mean,
so I was even called a nigger in school more than once. And you would think that in 2000, between 2004 and 2008, up north, you wouldn't have to experience that.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. I mean, you know, you got to expect it, because some people are still like that.
Right.
You know, I mean, they're still like that, unfortunately. I mean, this day and time, you know, I mean, don't get it wrong, you got some black people that are even racist to our own people. You know what I mean,
right.
Who actually don't like nobody, no other races at all. But to deal with that in today's society is very upsetting, though.
Yeah.
I mean, especially as a youth.
Right.
I mean, it's not, you know, as an adult, you know how to deal with it a little bit better.
Right.
As a kid, you really, like you ready to rebel. You know what I'm saying? You know, sometimes some kids even take a little bit farther and, you know, taking their own life.
Suicide.
Was you ever faced with that situation? That issue? Well, I say the situation, but ever faced with that decision?
No, I was never faced with that decision. I never got to a point where I wanted to commit suicide, but there were times where I thought, if I didn't have a weak mind, I probably would want to kill myself. Like, it is that severe. Like, because I know a lot of times when I came to my parents and complained about what I was going through, their reaction was always like I was being dramatic, or it wasn't that serious. Like, I'm just not happy. I'm just a knucklehead little kid that want to be at Trenton High.
Trying to go back to the hood, yeah.
Right.
And that's something they had to do it, because your parents from Trenton?
Well, my mom is born and raised in Trenton, but she grew up in Lincoln Homes.
She's from there.
She went to Stewart Country Day School in Princeton her whole life.
Okay,
so she dealt with the racism herself.
So why I think it was so hard for her to relate to your situation, because like you said, she from the hood. She went to a day school, Princeton Day School. Right. Well, I'm sorry, the name of the school was
Stewart Country Day.
Stewart Country Day in Princeton. Mm-hmm. So she dealt with that stuff. In fact, because she probably dealt with worse.
Even worse.
Because she was young. She's like, because she probably went to school like the 80s and 90s, or whatever.
Right.
And like this,
right. And that's why I was trying to explain to her.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably even worse back then.
So she would say things like, the world is racist. You know, you will have to go out into the real world and work in corporate America or somewhere like that one day.
But in corporate America, it's restrictions, though. You know what I'm saying? Right. It's laws and regulations that, you know what I'm saying, to protect, like I said, protect you, but you know what I mean, to kind of keep those people from doing those type of things in public anyway. Exactly. But in high school, right, you know what I'm saying, or you know, elementary school, middle school, back then the laws wasn't really that strict like they are now.
Right. You know.
I mean, so you know, I mean, so the weight was like a whole lot more, because in corporate America, okay, you got to deal with it, this, that, and third. Right. But at the same time, you're an adult too, so you approach a person like a man, like, listen, right, I'm a man like you're a man. You got a problem, let's solve it. Right. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Or you know, I'll call my lawyer. You solve it that way. But as a kid, you don't have those, you know what I'm saying, you don't have those outlets sometimes. No. I mean, either result of physical violence, you know what I mean?
Right. Or I did that too in the beginning, a lot.
Oh, all right.
But once I
showed the bros that I'm inside, huh?
I got numb to it after a while. I was like, I'm just going to keep fighting and somebody else is going to make a racist comment the following day. So it was like, and then there were some who I thought were cool. I would befriend them, or you know, we would hang out, and then like maybe after the third or fourth time, that's when they'll start sliding in the racist comments, or they'll start saying like, "Hey, you think I can make any friends around you?"
Oh, that's
yeah.
They actually that though, for real?
Yeah, like they'll get in good with me for like chill with me and lunch or something like that for a couple of days out the week, or talk to me in a certain class, and then when they start to see, okay, this guy is kind of cool, then they'll start to open up, and anything that they've ever wanted to ask a black person,
they would come and ask.
They would come and ask, because they will feel like, okay, it's 20 of us in the classroom and it's just him. So what we would say, we feel more comfortable just to say it to him, opposed to saying it to 10 black people in the room. Right.
Man, it's deep. That's the like because I never had to experience anything like that. Right. I went to all, as far as in school anyway. You know what I'm saying? I went to Monument, Junior 5, Trenton High. You know what I'm saying? But my sons, they actually live in an area where their school is multiracial, multi-diversity of moving different cultures. So they go to school in Bayville, South Central Regional High School. So actually, my oldest son, graduates tomorrow from there. He's going to be to Rutgers.
Oh, okay. You know congratulations.
So, thank you. But like I said, me myself, I never had to deal with that face on. Like I always knew there was racism in the world. You know what I'm saying, as I got older,
right,
and then as I ventured out outside of Trenton, I started seeing and dealing with it. You know what I'm saying, but that earlier age is hard to imagine.
Right.
You know what I mean, what the kid had to go through. You know what I'm saying, and like I said, basically. You was the only one. Like, you couldn't defend yourself because it's hard.
Right. And
the
other black kids in my school, they couldn't relate because majority of them had already been in that school district their whole life. So it was a little different. And they were still looking at me as that black kid from Trenton, opposed to just a black kid in general.
So the black kids in Hopewell were also being racist in some form of way, some form of fashion as well, because you wasn't from Hopewell, so to say.
And not even so much that, but they really didn't stick together, and they really couldn't relate to what I was going through. Like, I noticed at different schools, like when I would look at schools like schools in Hamilton or schools in Lawrence, where there was a little bit more black. There were more blacks than
because I know Nottingham, especially Nottingham, Hamilton High West, right. Lawrence joined. You know what I mean, so those schools definitely had,
or even Notre Dame. Notre Dame didn't have that many black kids at the time, but if something racist went on like that, trust and believe they stuck together.
Yeah, definitely.
Now it was just me. And there was one time I went to a couple of them like, what we gonna do? They being racist, and they just looking at me like, just let it go. You know how they are.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah.
Man, that's kind of depressing.
Yeah, and then Hope was in the news every other year with something racist. Like they were just in the newspaper. 2 or 3 years ago, I think, because they had a Black History Month came up, and they had a menu, and they had like, I want to say it was fried chicken and watermelon, or
I heard about that.
Sweet potato something crazy.
Yeah, it's gonna kind of the stigmatized types racial, like we're gonna serve them black.
So racism is still a big issue within that school.
I mean, like I said, I never had to go to Hopewell.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, I wouldn't know. You know what I mean? It was just crazy, man. It's just, like I said, just sit back and imagine the pressure that was put on you.
Right.
I mean, as a youth.
And to be able to focus. That's where I had the problem. Even when I came home, I wasn't doing my homework. I'll fake sick every other day.
So they just like pass you through did you do enough work to actually graduate, or they just like kind of passed you through?
I was always smart. So when it was time for me to do my work, when it was time for me to take exams and stuff like that, like I would pass. Like I would study a little bit, or I would do like maybe 20% of my homework and stuff like that. But I actually had so many absences and so many lates and so many detentions from rebelling and leaving school, and to the point where I almost didn't graduate. And I literally, but at the time, my mom was starting to suffer from breast cancer, and my parents were going through a separation. So I literally had to use that to my advantage in the school to actually make it seem like that was the reason why I was leaving school. That's the only reason why.
That's a bad thing, but
right.
It's understandable because you actually got the chance to get out of there and graduate. But so now, not only dealing with the racism in school and everything in Hopewell, but now you say your mom is sick and your parents are going through a separation.
Right.
At this time, how old were you at this time?
I was 16 years old.
16
going on 17.
That's the kind of growth spurt time.
Right. Exactly.
So, was your mom still here with us today?
Yeah, she's still here.
Okay, that's what's up. She still live in Hopewell or no? Hope not.
No.
All right. So how was that dealing with that all at once? Because I know, just for your mom being sick alone is a big thing, and then a lot of kids didn't grow up with both parents in the house, but just seeing your parents separate go through their issues. I mean, how was that in your mind dealing with those type of situations as well? Like,
yeah. Well, honestly, as far as the separation, that piece of it didn't really bother me as much as it probably would bother the average kid. Like me personally, I always felt like if my parents weren't happy together, that it would be very selfish of me to want them to stay together for the sake of the family. If their relationship is becoming to a point where it's toxic and neither one of them are happy, then I believe that they should separate. And that would not change the relationship that I have with either parent.
Okay, so your father is also still here with us as well?
Yes, he's still here.
You still have a relationship with your father as well?
I still have a relationship with him. Not always the best, but we still love and respect each other as father and son.
So you did call him yesterday, though?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Just making sure you called him yesterday. That's what's up. All right. Now, you went through all that. You sat down, you buckled down, you went to college, you played in the band. So instead of going to music, you went to computer science and administration.
Computer information systems.
That too.
Yep.
So what you didn't want to do with the music at all, or you just wanted to play in the band? Was it something to do while you was in college?
Yeah. Well,
did you play in high school for the band?
I did. I played the bass drum and the cymbals in band, and
that's something to just keep the madness.
Right. And I had the opportunity to be on Trenton High's band, even though I wasn't there anymore. But because of the commute and me catching the bus and all of that, I wouldn't have made the practices on time. So that's the only reason why I didn't continue.
By the time you get done with practice, no bus going back out the Hopewell.
Exactly. But the way I was skipping school, I probably could have did it. Yeah. Right.
And so you done with college and everything.
Right. So music was always something I loved and had a passion for. My father is a professional musician. He has his own band, and he traveled all around the world before I was born with the Marleys and plenty other famous reggae artists. Okay. So music is in my blood, and my sister's a singer and plays guitar as well.
Okay, who's your sister?
Her name is Indigo Mac. She actually just dropped a EP.
I think I met her name.
Named Genesis. She's from Trenton too.
Okay, yeah, I think I know who she is too.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but you never got deep into music. So, you went to the more the corporate world.
Right. I never wanted to be a professional musician or major in it in school or anything like that. But I definitely always wanted to keep that as a hobby and as extracurricular activities. So I went with a business degree in computer information systems, only because I always planned on starting my own businesses, but I wanted to kind of get my feet wet and get some experience out in the corporate world as well, just so that I could take a look and see, take a look at the pros and cons, how it's ran, and what I can do to run my businesses better.
That's the best thing to do. I mean, one of the good steps to take is to go out there and learn hands-on. You know what I'm saying, or like some people just dive out there and learn as they go. Right. But that's great though, man. And like I say, I'm overly excited about the fact that this is a bestseller on Amazon. I ain't even read it yet though. I'm definitely gonna read it. Now, when you said you're going to sit down to yourself, talk to yourself now, like, no, I'm gonna write this story and be my story, regardless of who people think about me. You know what I'm saying? Did you feel that you would get some type of, backlash or anything like that when people start reading it?
Absolutely, because and what I had to do was just think back to other stories that came out from other public figures. Like when you think about TLC's special, you remember Pebbles came back and said, "Oh, that's not true. I never gypped them out of money." Mm-hmm. When you think about the Jacksons or anybody else who's came out with a story, there's always going to be controversy and backlash, because there's always your truth, the other person's truth, and the truth, and then everybody else is entitled to their own opinion. Exactly. And just like I can become a millionaire tomorrow and give $1 million back to the city of Trenton, and look at the comments on the post of the article, and there's going to be half negative and half positive. Like, those are all things that I cannot change. And what I had to really think about and remember is the fact that I can't help and please everyone, but I will help and please the people that I'm called to assist.
Exactly, yeah, because everybody ain't gonna be happy no matter what you do.
Right. And I felt like I went with my intuition because I just felt it. Like I'm like, God is telling me that I need to tell this story and that I need to save someone's life. And people from all over the world have been reaching out to me saying, your story has helped me become a better mother, a better child, and it's very touching, very inspiring, very real, raw, and from a vulnerable state too.
Right. So because you just spinning out your feelings and emotions into these pages. Right. I mean, so is this self-published or are you going through a publishing company?
This was self-published. I actually enrolled in Dr. Brittany Smith. She's also a class of 08 Trenton High graduate from Wilbur section.
All right, shout out Miss Brittany Smith.
I enrolled in her course, which is called Impacting with Purpose, and it's for aspiring aspiring authors who want to publish books. So I learned a lot there about how to self-publish the book, and she provided me with a lot of good content too, as far as like formatting my manuscript and everything, and then marketing everything and promoting the audience. So really, without that information, I probably wouldn't be a bestseller.
Okay, good. Shout out to her, definitely. I mean, it's always good to have somebody, you know what I'm saying, that can assist you and give you some idea and some structure. That way you can do everything on your own. Because, like I said, since it is self-published, I'm saying everything comes back to you. So basically everything you put into it, you get everything back out of it. So if it's worth every word, and I mean everything that you put into it is going to definitely come all back to you. Is there any particular part in the book that you want to talk about, or you want to see people are aware of?
I'll look at the end. So the last chapter of the book is called My Testimony.
Okay.
And it basically there's a lot of words of affirmation in there, and just encouraging words, reminding people to love themselves and to move forward. Like, life is not supposed to be easy. You'll always have obstacles and struggles that you have to face, but you have to be optimistic and remember that everything happens for a reason, and you learn and grow from all experiences that you face in life.
Exactly. So definitely. So do you want to read for the people, or?
So yeah, I'll actually just read the first paragraph of the section. Okay. Throughout my life experiences, I've discovered how to be resilient, confident, and authentic. The key to success is embracing self-love and living in your truth. If you don't love yourself, then you won't be able to trust the vision of your favorable outcome. God created all individuals the way that they are for a specific reason. We have a purpose in life here on this earth. You must be genuine and display what makes you authentic in order to receive your blessings. Base your actions off of your instincts and not influences around you. Take heed to constructive criticism, but never let any commentary discourage you from achieving your goals and aspirations.
Oh, that's what's up. That's what's up. So you definitely got to, one thing you mentioned is you got to love yourself. I mean, no matter what. I mean, if you don't love yourself, nobody else will love you. You know what I'm saying? And at that point, you allow different things to happen to you because you don't love yourself. Look for love outside of yourself.
Right.
Yeah, I mean.
And you have to accept your flaws. Remember that you'll never be perfect.
Ain't nobody perfect. Yeah, exactly. Right. A lot of people can't understand that. They don't understand the fact, like, life is going to be, full of them ups and downs, those roads, those obstacles. And I mean, you got to be able to overcome those things. I mean, to become the best person you can be in life, period.
Right.
And I mean, some people will argue the fact like some kids don't get the opportunity to look at life that way because of the situation they're in. But, I'm thinking like myself, no matter what, if one person can make it out of the hood, I'm saying the next person can make it too.
Right.
I'm saying it just all depends on the person's their own inner strength.
Right. And I feel like everyone who's successful who comes from the hood, we have a responsibility to uplift our community. I'm not saying you have to go back and be a teacher or you have to constantly donate money when you don't have it, but you have to find, even if it's just dropping knowledge on somebody in the grocery store.
Exactly.
And we have to stop shunning and outcasting others who aren't as successful as we are, because yes, granted, we all come from the same hood, we all have the same opportunities, but not everybody's as strong-minded as you. Not everybody is raised the way that you are.
Yeah, right. And also Strong-minded, but some people don't have that self-will.
Right.
You know what I mean? They push forward like that. Right. You know I mean, and also some people go through mental illnesses as well.
Exactly.
You know I mean, it was kind of
like I did.
So the kids, some of the kids are left out. So you do a lot of self-medicating and stuff. Huh? You said, right? I'm just gonna try to deal with the situation the best way I can.
Exactly.
I mean, at that time, anyway.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, so so you did a book signing on the 8th and at the Big Easy. You did the interview up in North. So what you guys got lined up for this book, for you and your book?
Well, this is actually the beginning of my book signing tour.
Okay.
So July 4th weekend, I'll be in Atlanta. I'm having a book signing at the House of High-End Boutique.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to have a book signing also in Brooklyn and in DC next month.
In Brooklyn and DC in July.
In July.
So you're going to Atlanta, Brooklyn, and DC all next month?
All throughout the next month.
Okay. So you got a road manager, or you doing everything yourself?
I'm doing everything myself for now.
So you're looking at everything. So you go to different bookstores, or these is different? With the boutique, of course, this is not a bookstore; it's a clothing store.
Right.
So what are the locations in Brooklyn and DC?
The location in Brooklyn, I haven't confirmed it yet, but it's most likely going to be a lounge in Bed-Stuy.
Okay.
And
Bed-Stuy.
In DC, I actually might do a bookstore. So I haven't confirmed those venues yet, but by the end of this
week, you them right on the campus at Howard,
right?
And I'm live.
So I'm actually considering doing it right at the Howard bookstore. That's the first phone call that I'll be making this week to try to confirm that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
That's what's up. So that's the East Coast. Anything planned up for the Midwest and down South? Well, of course, Atlanta's down South, but it's still East Coast. So we're talking about like the dirty South.
Right. I'm working on Dallas. Texas. And then after that, I do have somebody who reached out to me from LA.
Oh, okay.
So that's
in the works lined up.
Yeah,
I mean, so this take off. Are you putting in your resignation at your job?
Hopefully, because I do. My ultimate goal is to be my own boss.
Right.
So, I'm definitely going to start taking more leaps of faith. Maybe get into selling some more merchandise,
like t-shirts and things.
Right.
So you got anything lined up for besides books for merchandise, or just the books right now?
Not yet, but I'm going to start with wristbands and t-shirts. I
like that slogan. I said when I seen it on I forgot because we actually wasn't friends at first.
Right.
I seen it was scrolling down my timeline and it popped up, and it was like, oh, let's be real for once, and it caught my attention. Like, you know what? I like that because a lot of people is so used to like putting up facades, right? I'm saying images of who they they portray to be. You know what I mean? But when I saw the title of it, it was more to me. It was more or less. I was thinking like talking directly to the community itself. Let's be real. Which is actually you can bring it back to because you say it's a self story, but you bring it back to that where you know what I mean. You want to be real within. You know what I'm saying your own community because a lot of times being fake could cause you your life in some situations.
Right. And if my goal is to give back to my community, then I at least want to build trust. You can't build trust and you're not being authentic or true to yourself.
Right. Definitely. So I mean, it's just I was overwhelmed again. Like it was a bestseller. You know what I'm saying or Amazon, and it took like say about 24 to 26 hours.
Right, maybe even sooner. I didn't notice until 24 hours, and I was like, "Wait a minute, what?"
So, what other platforms are you selling on besides Amazon?
Right now, it's only being sold on Amazon.
Okay,
but in the near future, it'll be available on
platforms.
On different platforms.
You also plan on putting the audio and all that as well, or just right next to?
I'm definitely going to put in the audio as well.
So I mean, you got musical background, so you know your way around the studio, correct? Right?
Definitely.
All right, so I look forward to it, man. You got Atlanta, DC, Brooklyn, reaching out to Dallas,
and LA. Hopefully LA, right?
And then of course you got to get to Chicago and all through there and everything.
Yeah, definitely. I love Chi-Town.
You ever been there before?
Mm-hmm. I've been there a couple times, and my grandfather actually lives there.
Oh, okay.
That's my only living grandparent, so.
Okay, yeah. Got to make a stop over there,
right?
Before anything, before his time is called.
Exactly.
Because we always get older. We never get younger, unfortunately. You know what I mean? Besides Amazon, of course, the book's on there. But do you want to let people know where else they can find you at? I'm saying what platforms you on? They can follow you at.
Sure. My Instagram is Roby Robe. It's ROBI_ROBE.
Roby Robe.
Yeah,
I like that. That's
yeah.
That's easy to
yeah,
pronounce.
That's my nickname from high school. Yeah,
that's just
yeah. And then my Facebook is author Jahrobi Ihsan, and so is my Twitter.
All right, now what? Jahrobi Ihsan. That's a Muslim name or African descent?
So So my first name is actually Ethiopian.
Okay.
The correct spelling of it is Jarobi.
Oh, okay.
But my father added in the H since he's a Rastafarian. It means strong one, and I'm actually named after Jahrobi White, who is a member of the Tribe Called Quest.
You talking about the DJ? Oh, the DJ. Yeah, the DJ.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jahrobi. Yeah. But matter of fact,
so we actually had the same last name too.
Oh, yeah, you want the DJ from
right. So the only difference with the spelling of our name is that mine has an H and he doesn't.
Oh, okay.
And then my middle name is Ihsan, which is Arabic and it means charitable.
So Ihsan is your middle name?
Yeah.
So what's your last name?
My last name is White.
Oh. They messed up to give you
Exactly.
It was sounding good till you got to the
right. So I was like, as soon as when I get established as an author,
you want
that won't be there.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. I know. I like that. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, because it sounded good. So you got to
right. And it's funny because growing up, like everybody will, oh, I love your name. It's so unique. It's so cool. And I always wanted a common name. I always wanted to be a Brandon or a Malik, like something. Right. Nah, man. I didn't want to stand out and be in my own lane. I always wanted to fit in with everybody else. So that's why it's so important for me as an adult to really just be myself.
Be yourself, exactly. I got to understand that because a lot of kids do have that those issues, especially in high school, junior high school. I mean, when they're trying to actually find themselves, they rather prefer to fit in or instead of being themselves, being individuals. And that's the struggle, you know what I'm saying? And not only dealing with that, but other peer pressures and issues and stuff like that. But like you had it even like twice as bad because you was in the whole different school system, you know what I'm saying, away from home. Even though it was only 20 minutes away, but still like it probably felt like miles away because where you was at. And
coming from where I came from, it being a culture shock, me already being established and having a foundation in predominantly
you started the first year of high
schools.
School in Trenton High West, or not first year. We started the first year, yeah. So yeah, you already got that hip hop swag. So you go over there, the country rock,
right?
Or that Mick Jagger, whatever they listen to out there.
Exactly.
I don't discriminate against no music. I love music, but sometimes it's hard to relate to other cultures. You know what I'm saying, especially at a young age.
Right.
As you get older, you know what I mean, it's different. But also, if you're not in that type of frame of mind anyway, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
If you're not musically inclined or artsy or whatever, and maybe that sometimes as an athlete, it's easier to relate to other cultures because you're an athlete, you deal with a lot of different other people. Right. But if you got that one hood frame of mind and you go somewhere else and you're like, yo, what the hell is this, yo? Like, you know what I mean? It's crazy. It's kind of a culture shock because you never seen nothing like that before in your life.
Right.
Then at the same time, you got them looking at you.
As a child, and then my dad was a Rasta. They both had dreads. My mom was like one of the first Black women walking around Trenton with dreads. So like I was already pro-Black my whole life.
And they had to go to that school, like
right. But I think that's what helped me be strong. Like in like in elementary school, we were watching Roots and learning how to write our names in Swahili.
So that's crazy. Like you went to APAS and you went to Granville. You know what I'm saying?
I went to Catholic school. I got expelled from there. And then I went to Joyce Kilmer because my parents didn't want me to go to Junior 1 because they were like, oh, Junior 1's so bad.
Right. Which sound probably was.
Right.
Which probably a good decision. Right. And it's just that how the diversity in just a school alone you have to deal with.
Right.
I mean, from like I said, he passes like a pro-black type school,
right?
And then you go to a Catholic, a charter school, which is basically all about academics, and that's it. You know what I mean? Then they go to a Catholic school, which is religious, because it's religious.
Yeah, I dealt with a lot of racism there too.
Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah, but with the teachers,
not
with the students.
Because in that area, because that's right there on Olden and
Right, it's too many of us.
Yeah,
for them to be getting bold like that.
Exactly. But it's just about diversity in school alone that you have to deal with.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, before you became an adult, you know what I'm saying? I can imagine, like some kids, like I said, won't really deal with that type of pressure.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, and it's good to see you able to conquer that and actually tell your story about it. I mean, and share with other people.
Right.
A lot of people don't want to share it, you know what I'm saying, their flaws with nobody else.
Or a lot of them will just do whatever they got to do to fit in and forget about where they come from.
Exactly. Instead of creating their own lane.
Right.
You know, and nowadays you gotta do that, man. I tell my son's the same thing. Like my son going to Rutgers, man, right now. He be in Rutgers and comes August. I told him, I said, you know what I mean, so what you plan on doing? Like, Dad, I don't know. Yeah, I said, I can support you regardless of whatever you want to do. Just make sure it's something that you can use the degree for. Don't go to school for something. You know what I mean? You spend $200,000 and you got no idea what you want to do once you graduate.
Right. Exactly.
So, but I try to teach my sons that you got to build your own lane. You got to be yourself. You got to find something that you're passionate about, that you want. You know what I'm saying, you want to pursue in your life. Right. I mean, don't be walking around all dumbfounded and stuck. You know what I mean? Even in this day and time, you got to realize at an early age what you want to, you know what I'm saying, you know, what you want your life to be like. Right. Because if not, you be out here, you know, running around stuck and caught up in all this other, you know, BS is going on, and like a zombie. Right. Walking around lost and clueless. I mean, I don't want to take away nobody's childhood, but still, like, with today's world and technology and how everything is developing so fast. Like my grandbaby was 3 years old. By the time before she was 3, she was on the phones, using the phones. You know what I'm saying? Look, you got to think about, like, by the time she, you know, hit 15, 20 years old, how far advanced life is going to be at that time. You know what I mean? So we got to start teaching our kids now. You know what I'm saying? Prepare them now for that time. You know what I'm saying? In the future. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, with that being said, is that you have to be able to define yourself and know who you are. Right. You know what I'm saying? At an early age, you can't be a follower. You know what I'm saying? You can't be a follower, because if not, you follow everybody else into that pit, that pit of darkness, and you're stuck. Right. You know what I mean?
And it was like I was never a follower, but I was never confident in myself either.
Right.
So that just caused me to be by myself, quiet, timid. I was always that quiet person.
You never wanted to stand out and be
right.
And then, you know what? That's another thing. It's crazy because I was explaining to my I had a chance to explain to my son the other day, but I wanted to, because it was something that he should explain to me, but he didn't. And the profession he told me he's trying to go into is he want to be a veterinarian, which is cool. I like animals too. You know what I mean? It's cool. You can also start your own business as well. Get your own practice. Your own practice. And people love them pets, so they go spend that money. But and it's something that he wanted to explain to me, but he did. I'm like, you gotta be able to explain yourself. I'm saying, because people want to hear what you got to say. Especially going to that type of profession, you gotta tell somebody about their pet, like why they dying.
Right. If you want to own your own farm,
exactly,
and you're sitting on the corner of Walnut, you gotta be able to comfortably say that and explain why.
Exactly. So,
and not everybody's gonna agree with it, but you can't let that discourage you.
So sometimes you gotta get over that timidness and be able to be outspoken at times. Like, you know, sometimes it's good. Like a lot of times I sit back and watch everything that goes on in the room, and just to watch, because you know, and then it's good to talk all the time.
Right. Yeah. So you gotta be observant.
Exactly, but you can't be scared to express yourself at the same time.
And that was me when I got to Howard, because when I got to Howard, I was like, oh man, like I'm with some of the most intelligent people from all over the world.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm not as smart as they are. There were plenty of times where I knew the answer to every question in class, but I never raised my hand.
Yeah,
just because I was afraid to get it wrong, or I didn't want to feel stupid, or like whenever I wrote a paper or did a presentation, like I wrote a research paper on cyberbullying. for my information assurance class, which was related to information security.
Okay, all right, gotcha. But say, why would you write
right?
I understand.
So
now.
I am the department chair of the Department of Computer Information Systems at Howard. Contacted me and said, "Listen, this is a really good research paper. I want you to publish this." And at the time, I was like, nothing I wrote could be good enough for me to publish. And now look at me, I'm a published best-selling author, and I am going to go back and update that paper.
Definitely,
and add some more research and publish it.
Because it's not only the fact that something good, it's good for you, I'm saying, to put out there, but it's something that the world needs.
Absolutely. When other people go to do their research, they can use mine as a reference source.
Yeah, definitely. Well, look, we're just about out of time, man. I'll go by fast. We start talking.
Right.
Once again, Amazon.com bestseller. Let's be real for once. Listen, I told you I would pronounce your name the first time. Jahrobi.
Jahrobi.
All right, Jahrobi Ihsan.
Jahrobi Ihsan.
Listen, I told you.
Right.
My people know, like, I'm bad with names. Right. Bestseller. Make sure y'all pick this up. Y'all see him in the streets. You got him in the trunk, right?
That's right.
How much they going for?
$15.
$15. Let's be real for once. More or less, it's like a self-autobiography, would you say, or just?
I would say it's a personal narrative, written to discuss my life obstacles and struggles, and explain how I overcame them and help others along their journeys, regardless of what that might be.
I'm revealing trauma with nothing but the truth. I definitely need to pick this up. I'm saying I haven't read it yet, but I'm going to read it because it's something I definitely want to look into, because people that want to that love to tell these stories, you find it so interesting, and how you can relate to them in so many different ways. Because you never know, like, damn, you've been going through something and never think somebody else be going through it as well. Right. I'm saying, so you read, hear their story or read their story. So, you want to give me shout outs real quick? You want to shout out, man? Besides your mom, your pops, and everybody else, you want to give shout outs to?
I want to give a shout out to Beyonce.
To Beyonce?
And I say that because
I don't know if she watching this, but she might. I don't know. She might watch it.
Right. I always shout her out in my interviews because of her bringing awareness to police brutality and doing her tribute to the Black Panthers on the Super Bowl. That actually inspired me to come out with my pro-Blackness, because I've been pro-Black my whole life, but that's something that I wasn't always confident to be.
Especially living with a whole world.
Exactly. And also for her bringing doing the HBCU tribute and bringing Black culture for the first time to the main as a headliner at Coachella. So that's definitely she's definitely setting trends to allow our people to embrace Blackness and self-love, because in the Black community we struggle with that in general.
We do.
That's why I wanted to
self-love is a big thing in the Black community. Well, yeah, shout out to Beyonce. Anybody else?
And I want to give a shout out to Dr. Smith for mentoring me and guiding me throughout this process. Without you, I don't think it would have been possible.
This was Dr.
Brittany Smith.
Okay.
Right here from Trenton. And I definitely want to shout my sister out as well for always just supporting me and reminding me that I can achieve any goal that I set for myself. And just being...
It's your older sister, younger sister?
This is my younger sister.
Okay. All right.
Just always being in my corner.
That's what's up, fam.
Pushing me. Yeah. Absolutely.
What's the name of her project and everything? Where they can find that as well? No, you might as well get that plug too, right?
Yeah, it's Indigo Mac, MAK. She's available on all platforms. She dropped an EP called Genesis and is doing very well.
Okay, we probably have to get her on sometime soon. Get her on.
Yeah, definitely.
And once again, let them know where they can find you at, all your media and everything.
Okay, so Roby, ROBI _ Robe, ROBE.
Roby. I'm gonna call you Roby from now on.
Yeah, that's what most people call me. That's how you can find me on Instagram. And author Jahrobi Ihsan, JAHROBI is my name on Facebook.
Okay. All right. Listen, man. I'm telling y'all, we'll pick this up. Support I'm saying trend artists support trend artists. I'm saying we should put our own young, intelligent black man from the city of Trenton. Doing this thing, and we look forward to hearing a lot more about you, man. I'm saying I can see now it's only the beginning.
Definitely,
you know
only the beginning.
And like I said, I was just scrolling down my timeline, like, and the title itself just caught my attention. And I was like, I got to get him on here for the interview. Ain't know nothing about you until you know what? Until now, you know what I mean? I wanted to talk to you and get you on the show and see what's going on with you in your life, man. And what inspired you to write this book, and we'll see. You know what I'm saying, what else you got going on in the future as well. So, as a North Trenton person alone, I'm proud of you. You know what I mean? But keep up the good work, man. You know what I'm saying? For sign off as usual, my usual shout outs, my man, Blessed Child. You know what I'm saying? Sponsored the Stretched Out Blog Talk Radio. Shout out to Stretched Out Clothing. Shout out to everyone that's watched the show, my wife, my kids, everybody, my sisters, everybody. And don't forget, this weekend, Ticket My Funny Bone Comedy Show. I'm saying June 22nd at Open Arts Pack. And I should probably have a couple guests on the podcast, interviewing them for the show coming up on the 22nd. So don't forget, June 22nd, Open Arts Pack, Ticket My Funny Bone Comedy Show. Be this last show for the season. So make sure y'all come out. We won't be back until September. Amazon.com. Let's be real for once. You know what I mean? Make sure y'all pick this up. Support this young man, Mr. Roby,
yeah.
There you go. I'm bad with names, bro. I'll get it, though. I'll get it. And the people like, how do you have a guest and don't can't pronounce his name? Like, listen, it's not a regular Dave or Tez.
Right. And I'm one of those people who don't get offended by that.
I appreciate that, too.
If you're not good with names, you're not good with names. It's okay.
But we're definitely going to support this book, though, regardless. So this your boy Just, Global Unlimited Podcast. We're signing out. We'll be back here on Wednesday. We do produce a kids podcast now as well with Howard's Healthy Choices. He had the Culture Center Kids Speak. Matter of fact, we're just going to get a little flash of that real quick. We'll be back here on Wednesday with the Kids Speak podcast. Make sure y'all tune in for that as well this coming Wednesday. We like I said, we're here at the Briggs Library in Trenton, New Jersey. We're here. Shout out to Miss Howard and Miss Hope for allowing us to come here and do what we do. Howard's Healthy Choices is the name of the program. We're here for the kids. And too bad they're in the board meeting, there's a chance to sit down and talk to them for a little bit. But you always welcome to come back and chop it up with them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, anytime.
And do some different stuff. But we out though, man. You know what I mean? See you on Wednesday. It's your boy Just. You know what I'm saying? And I'm to this man Jay. That's my man. Jay. Right. All right, peace.